Hey, Lacey McKinney here, your self-proclaimed personal branding expert, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about my journey in discovering my personal brand. And so it wasn't something that I sought out to do at the time. It was all around me wanting more in my career. And so something I do want you to understand is that I wasn't unhappy in the career I was in. It was actually around me knowing I wanted something a little different. And so I was in the leisure services field, and I had been in the leisure services field for a little over 10 years at the time. And I was doing great at my role, really just working on projects and doing some things in the role, but there was something missing. And I don't know if some of you all have that same feeling, but there was something missing as I was getting up, going to work, and just the things that I was producing. And so I went on this self-discovery journey to see what else is out there, what other career fields that I would be interested in. And so I started this self-discovery piece, and some things that I did within this self-discovery journey was I took assessments. And so a lot of times when people think about assessments, they are looking at skills assessments and specifically talking about their gaps. But the assessments I went and did were assessments around my high value skills. And so at the time, I didn't understand what that was. I didn't look at it as high value skills. I was just trying to look at what I was good at and start to identify those things and start to talk about them a little bit and start to bring them forward, because I knew that there was something more that I wanted, but I didn't quite know what it was. And so by doing those self-assessments, I started to identify those high value skills and be able to start to bring them forward in the workplace. And so the way that they would show up, and I want to talk a little bit more about the different assessments and how I applied them in a different video. I think that would be a great video to share with you and walk you through assessments and the value that they bring, and specifically how they add value to how you build your personal brand and show up in your work, or whether you are an entrepreneur that's specifically around consulting, coaching, and how you want to be the face, and some of those skills that you can bring into those different arenas. And so when I would look at my skills assessment, I was able to bring those things into the workplace. And so if I was in a meeting, I could really showcase those skills in different ways by giving input into what was going on at the table. Or if there was projects that was happening, I could raise my hands based on what they needed at the time. And so that's how I started to apply my skills assessment and my assessments that I was doing to be able to start to give me direction of where I was going. Like I said, I was on a self-discovery piece, but I didn't know where it was taking me, but I was just going to go on this journey. And I really, truly enjoyed it by understanding and connecting my passions with actually my vision for my career, setting some goals to go forward, and I was able to accomplish them. Some other things that I did was I started to go to different conferences and different meetups. And so I know a lot of people say, well, everybody does that within their career. Yes, that is true. But what I would do is go to different conferences that was outside of my current industry. And what I would do is align those different conferences with leadership. So I was in a leadership position. I was also one that needed to think about what was happening within my division a little different. So of course I needed to dream and look at different things, but I found that going to the industry specific conferences didn't give me enough of that. And so I started to go to different ones with this journey. I started to go to different things, specifically like around tech, the creative field, design is another one that I would do. Those different industries that was serving and doing an end product, right, other than a service. And so I would go to some of those industries and conferences and meetups and meet different people, listen to different things. And what it was doing was challenging my thinking. It was helping me to grow and look at things a little different and then start to attach some of my assessments and some of those skills that I was great at doing, some of those high value skills, looking at those and learning some things and getting challenged from those conferences, and then being able to bring those ideas back into the workplace. And so what I was doing that, people were starting to notice. I was bringing different conversations up. I was bringing in different ideas up. I was identifying different problems that people weren't seeing, and people started to take notice. They were noticing like, that's different. That we didn't think about that. Or can you be a part of this conversation, because we need your thinking in those conversations. And so as I was doing that self-discovery piece, I was just building a personal brand and was not realizing what was happening at the time, but it was fun. I was really enjoying. Other thing that I did was, as I was learning these things, I was sharing it with people. And so I wasn't gatekeeping. I was starting different groups within our organization around creativity, around thinking different, around how you can identify different things within your role to apply something new to. And so that was all around innovation and being a change agent. And so by doing those things, I was bringing other people along. And so that's very important, specifically if you're in a leadership position. How you bring other people along and kind of develop them is very important. And so I started to just do those things naturally because it was what was showing up in my skills assessment. And so when I was doing those things and I kept being intentional about the different things that I was learning and how I was challenging myself, I was also listening to podcasts. I would listen to different podcasts that had nothing to do with my current industry, not even around leadership, not even around just everything different. I want to say specific. I might listen to something on money. I might listen to something on entrepreneurship. I might listen to something on people in the influencing space as well, technology, just different things. But what it was doing was challenging me to think different, and I would bring that back into the workplace and show up different. I would bring different thoughts to the table. And so what was happening was my name was getting talked about in spaces that I was not in. I was being identified for different special projects that was going on, because they would say, hey, we need the way you think within this project. So come to the table, come to these meetings so you can influence that conversation. And so lo and behold, what was happening was that I was building my personal brand with this journey that I was going on. What I want to do here is share that with you all. Share about building your personal brand. There's so many things that you can learn by doing this work, by really building and being intentional about where you're going, whether you want to level up with where you are in your current career. So say you are okay with your industry that you're in. This is where you see yourself. That's okay, but you can shift. You can start to do things differently. You can have people identify you for specialty roles within where you are, or maybe you want to go to a new industry. By doing those skills assessments and doing that challenging work, you can start to build those transferable skills. And so I feel like that's another video that I could bring to you all, and something I want to start to do is identify different videos that I can bring just based off the work that I did for me building my personal brand. And so I want to do that for you. I think it's great. Like I said, I brought people along on the journey. And so this is my way of giving back, bringing you along on the journey to identify how you can build your personal brand. And so when I talk about personal branding, it's not just for people in the 9-to-5 corporate space. I've also identified that this work is great for coaches and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs that really want to put themselves forward and be the face of their business. These tips and resources and information that I'm going to bring to you is going to be very valuable in those spaces as well. And so I don't want to limit yourself to say, well, hey, I'm not in a corporate position. I'm not in a 9-to-5. And so this doesn't apply to me, or I'm an entrepreneur and this doesn't apply to me. I am building a well-rounded content journey to be able to share that with you. And know that when I think of personal branding, it's not just around skills. It's not just around what you do in the workplace, and it's not just around the relationship building. All those things are important, and I will identify that and bring those resources. Another piece that I feel like is very very important to my own personal brand is how I dress, how I show up. Just me interacting and presenting, how I facilitate conversations, how I facilitate content, as well as all about my own personal brand and what's specific and unique to me. And so that's what I want you to identify. I want you to see some of those things. I want other people to identify that in you just by the work that you're doing. And so within this channel, I also want to share with you around my own personal style and how you can discover and show up and do that within your personal brand. I'm not going to say, hey, copy me, but I'm going to give you ideas of how do you bring fashion trends into the workplace, or how do you identify and be comfortable with including color into your wardrobe if those are things you're thinking you want to do. And so I want you to have a well-rounded personal brand that really just speaks volume. And what it's going to do, it's going to help you bring confidence into the things that you're doing. It's going to help you level up within your role. It's also going to have people identify and start to sponsor you in different rooms where you're not present. And then, there's another outcome that it's going to increase your earning potential. I don't want you to forget about that important outcome. And so I know we're not just going after the money, but you increasing your earning potential does so much for you in your life. And so if you can do that just by being who you are, bringing your authentic self to any role, anything that you're doing, and being unique in that, and people start to notice that, then that is valuable in itself. And on top of that, to increase your earning potential, why not, right? And so I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that you enjoyed my story of me building my personal brand. Of course, I will go into different pieces and parts of that as I continue my own journey of introducing this to YouTube. So what I want you to do is, if this is resonating with you, if it's something that you heard that would help you along in your journey, just in this conversation, not to mention the ones that I'm going to bring to you with other tips and other resources, do me a favor, go ahead and like this video, go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you can make sure you know when other videos come alive, and you're going to see them in different format. And so I might do talking head videos like I'm doing now. I might also switch and do some teaching pieces where you may see a presentation and me talking you through some content, as well as I'm going to show you the behind the scenes pieces and me going to different conferences and talking about what I'm learning. And then I'm going to show you my style. I'm going to show you my fashion. I'm going to tell you where I get some of my clothes and how I show up looking put together, and how I, keep a certain appearance based on the personal brand that I want to put forward. I'm going to share that with you as well. And so I am a multidimensional individual. We all are multifaceted individuals. And so why not share that and let you see how my whole personal brand comes together for you. And so I'm going to do that. So do me a favor again, share this video, like this video, and make sure you subscribe and come back for the next video.